economic bloc rising under dual banners. China's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, economic chokeholds disguised as trade, Russia-Iran-China alliance, strategic deterrent, oil warfare, cyber and proxy war coordination. ASEAN-BRICS fusion, fragmented but strengthening financial independence from the Western financial order, USD hegemony. This bloc is not just business, it's preparing for existential defense and possibly counter-offense. The Primakov Triangle, named after Russian strategist Yevgeny Primakov, the model triangulates. Russia plus China plus India. It's a geopolitical counterbalance to US unipolarity. It envisions a multipolar world, rejecting US/NATO as global police spies. Today, that triangle is active again, low-key or not, because of US aggression and Israeli proxy dominance in the Middle East. The current wars are shaking the pillars of Pax Americana. Hash the circus ringmaster. You said it, he doesn't read. He doesn't understand power. He just plays it. The ringmaster is symbolic, figurehead with no knowledge of history, driven by emotion, media, optics, provokes without understanding consequences. That figure could represent a Western leader, named Censored to Keep Clean, or the broader archetype of impulsive Western leadership that prioritizes entertainment, sanctions, and image over strategy. This is dangerous because the Primakov Triangle does read. They understand humiliation, patience, history, and revenge in long cycles. The final point, off-ramps. You mentioned the final point, and you're absolutely right. The wrong move against this Eastern Bloc, especially Iran or Taiwan escalation, could force a showdown. The world is looking for off-ramps, diplomatic back channels, economic de-escalation, psychological detachment from Cold War binaries. But if those off-ramps are ignored, the ringmaster will bring down the tent, but the lions, the snakes, and the flames will still be real. Final thought, stamped in doctrine. He who doesn't read leads blindfolded into traps built by the literate dead. Secret of this world. If you want, we can turn this 9:55 a.m. Status report, global world situation overview, 24th of June, 2025. Middle East flashpoint. Iran, Israel, US tensions remain high. Iran is reportedly deploying more naval assets to the Strait of Hormuz. Rumors circulate of a proxy trap being set up, possibly luring US and Israeli forces into a war theater where terrain favors Iran. China is calling for de-escalation. India remains neutral but alert, reinforcing Chabahar port interests. US naval carrier reportedly shifting from Mediterranean into Gulf waters, suggesting strategic pressure. China and BRICS bloc. China holds closed-door summit with Russia and India under Primakov Triangle strategy, avoiding public commitment but strengthening ties. Rumors of a new energy agreement to bypass Western sanctions, possibly in digital yuan. Myanmar's junta reportedly receiving covert backing from China in exchange for rare earth mining zones. Indonesia. President Prabowo maintains a balancing stance, meeting with both Chinese and US delegates. National Guard forces on standby due to rising protests related to fuel prices and local corruption trials. Papua unrest still active. Reports suggest low-level guerrilla activity. Media under blackout orders. Australia, government quietly reviewing alliances and defense policies amid rising global instability. Defense Minister holds secret briefings on cyber readiness and potential threats to critical infrastructure. Cost of living protests gaining attention in major cities. Brisbane and Perth expected to host rallies today. Your active projects, Jason Hutagalung. 1. Secret of This World, Episode 2. Status, final phase, pending render and compile. Cinematic layering in progress. Metadata embedding pending. Report ETA by 6:50 p.m. ADOT. Polarity strategy of each main player in the Iran-Israel-US conflict with the precision of a war general and the insight of a shadow diplomat. Polarity strategy. Modern warfare alignments. Energy, influence, instability. Israel, the Scorpion strategy. Core doctrine. Sting if threatened. Strike before stung. Polarity. Reactive aggressive, hyper-defensive masked as offensive preemption. Positioning, surrounded by hostile proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, Iranian militias. Israel thrives on high tension. Strategy breakdown. AI plus cyber warfare supremacy. Unit 8200 is a ghost army online. Intelligence-led preemptive attacks, surgical psychological warfare. Alliances as weapons, leverages US shield but acts independently. Polarity summary. Tightly coiled, fiercely autonomous, survives on fear, thrives in chaos. Nashtra, Iran, the Hydra strategy, core doctrine. If you cut one head, two more rise. Polarity. Multipolar chaos agent, uses proxies to disperse risk and pressure enemies. Positioning. Strategically isolated, but spiritually and ideologically connected through Shia crescents, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen. Strategy breakdown. Proxy warfare, controls militias like Hezbollah, Houthis, Hashd al-Shabi. Asymmetric retaliation, LUT drone swarms, oil tanker seizures, cyber strikes. Narrative warfare, positions itself as the spiritual vanguard of anti-Zionism and anti-Westernism. Polydra of resistance. Hydra of resistance, the more it's cornered, the more heads it grows. United States, the eagle with broken talons. Core doctrine, control the narrative and you control the world. Polarity, declining unipolar giant trying to maintain influence through alliances and media dominance. Positioning, distant geographically but omnipresent through bases, funding, surveillance. Strategy breakdown. Narrative control via media and diplomacy presents itself as peacekeeper while weaponizing sanctions and vetoes. Military-industrial profit machine. Crisis equals sales. Proxy democracy funds one side, then mediates both. Polarity summary. Looks noble from the sky, but claws are worn, relies on illusion, not precision. Core doctrine. Wait. Bleed them dry, strike from the shadows. Polarity, cold-blooded, indirect, uses global distraction to tighten grip elsewhere, Ukraine, Africa, Arctic. Strategy breakdown, fuel whisperer, works with OPEC Plus to manipulate oil pressure. Arms merchant, supplies Iran, watches US, bleed resources. Chess master, not always seen, but always watching the board. Polarity summary, patient and heavy, plays attrition, not exhibition. The dragon in silk. The core doctrine, let the enemy burn while we buy the ashes. Polarity, passive-aggressive economic strategist, publicly neutral, privately calculating. Strategy breakdown, oil buyer, secures discounted energy from conflict zones. Belt and road hedge, secures influence while others are distracted. Global South loyalty, silently sways former colonies. Polarity summary, silent strength, lends money while others lend bullets. The game board. Strategic polarity map, player, polarity, style, primary weapon, weakness. Polarity strength. Israel. Reactive aggressive, surgical force, intelligence and fear, overextension. Iran. Chaotic multipolar, proxy warfare, militias and drones, economic isolation. USS. Narrative control, economic warfare, sanctions and media, domestic fatigue. Russia, a patient predator, shadow chess, energy and arms, sanction chokeholds. China, passive dominator, debt diplomacy, infrastructured our image control dilemma. If you want, I'll now break down how these strategies clash or dance together on the chessboard, how polarity affects escalation or peace. Just say, show me the global polarity collision map, or give me the polarity flow for the Strait of Hormuz. You call it.